The power of education is that it's the best way for a society to transform itself. What education does when it works best is that it introduces young people first and foremost to themselves. It introduces them to each other. People get a chance to discover who's right next to them. Education introduces people to the broader society around them, and in extension, the rest of the world. In an island like Cyprus, the power of a transformative education is that it allows young people to grapple with topics that perhaps over the course of their young lives they might not have yet engaged with. In divided communities especially, one might not know what they don't know because people have been kept away from information that is critical.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know how you have experienced a different take on education influence your own view on what the future of an island like Cyprus might be.
Okay. So my personal experience was that moving from the national high school system to the one in UWC was that I was first viewed beyond a numerical value as a grade, but as an individual with all of the values I brought to the table. And so I was also cherished with what I could provide on an individual basis. And that was new, and that was a new take. It was absolutely like, okay, I can actually like take up space. I'm allowed to exist with all of my facets.
Yes.
And so I believe for the Cypriot context, that is very important because like you've said, people don't know what they don't know. And that is also because people are unaware of knowing themselves first.
That's right.
I also saw it in high school here where, you know, you're getting taught one part of history. And then that made me realize talking and hearing from the people that, oh, you know, there's actually like so much more I have to learn, and we should like, through education, I think, it just makes you also think further than what you're being taught. I should maybe think more and see the whole point more holistically. It's not just of what you hear, but it's also the way you perceive it and you think about it and what you do with the information you get.
Yeah, education is the perfect antidote to ignorance. Education is the solution to bias and preconceived notions about what society can be and should continue to be. Education can help to build bridges between people, between ideas, between concepts. Education can heal the world. Education is the one vehicle through which we can make a lasting difference in the world. And especially in an island like Cyprus, education is the key to moving forward.
I think of it as, you know, UWC or the experience as a whole kind of gives the youth, or us specifically, and then any of us who kind of benefits from this, the confidence to, again, like take up space, and then to realize how hard it was prior to having been through that experience, and then now kind of have the courage and the community to pave the paths, to at least open some doors to make it easier for the next generation. Because in the sense that what does education allow for the youth to do in Cyprus is initially for us first, I think it allows us to start knocking on these doors that otherwise have never been knocked on before.
Young people are the future of Cyprus, and when it comes to the role they play, I think it's huge and it's on us. I think you really want to do lots of change after it because you see so many different perspectives on the world, and you realize that there's so much we can actually do. So I think it was a very eye-opening experience.
Looking back now over time, how do you think it has changed your view on Cyprus?
The more you learn, the more you understand how much you don't know.
That is true.
So I think learning more about the different people and their backgrounds and situations in the world and everything, it just made me also more curious. And I think that's really important also if you want to make a change, because if you're curious, you want to learn more, and then by learning more, for me at least, you want to change something and you want to act on them.
Being at UWC, being in the abundance of such an international crowd and community, you realize that what you're going through back home in Cyprus is not a one-of-a-kind situation, right? There's so much of these similarities you can draw and parallels from around the world. So when I was in UWC Mostar, and where there were the context of Mostar being the post-conflict city that it is, with all these different ethnicities and the conversations that would happen, I found myself having an easier time forwarding questions to these communities in ways that they were also not used to hearing, because I was curious to understand them. Prior to that, I was not able to kind of seek or find the comfort to really ask these controversial questions. And I think that's something that really gave me depth when I came back to Cyprus. I was like, so I was able to do it there in this context with these people. Why shall I not be able to approach it in a similar way in my own? And in that way, it kind of, then being able to do that and being able to approach those conversations with its required sensitivity really, just gave me depth.
The scholarship opens up the door to almost average out the rest of the world, to allow young people in Cyprus to take as much of a role as they would like to play in shaping the future of a beautiful place like this. And this partnership, this unique partnership between the United World Colleges and the European Commission allows us to actualize a powerful dream, right? Something everyone has been thinking about for decades. Now we can finally widen the door and allow access to be the gateway for us to do a lot more of what we've always wanted to do.